Because it wouldn't be Speaking of SAC without your music, right?
Boy, that brought a lot of joy to my heart. It's been a while, Hot Mustard, but thank you for surprising me with that.
Oh, no problem, no problem. You know, this is definitely a learning curve for everyone throughout the Alamo colleges, and I definitely would say everywhere else, having to work remotely.
Yes.
And, you know, you definitely have to be engaged more. You have to check your emails a little bit more, because that's where we're at. Social distancing, staying safe.
Right.
So everybody needs to continue to do that. You know, stay home. You're not stuck at home. You're safe at home, and keep checking your email. I think that's very important.
Keep checking your email. And I think what's happened is we've been used to staying connected with friends, but now we've taken it up a notch, right? Right now we're connected with school, we're connected with work, and at times connected with family via social distancing and social media, right? So it is like social media virtual overload for a lot of us, that just we're very selective of how we used our virtual reality, and now it's in everything that we do every single second of the day.
Oh yes. And you know, you really have, I mean, it's a very huge difference, you know, being on campus and being able to say, oh, I have to go talk to so and so, I'm going to leave my office real fast and just walk over to the building because it's right there. You can't do that now.
That's right.
You have to do emails. We have these Zoom meetings going on.
Right.
And I would imagine for introverts, it's not that bad. I would imagine, though, for extroverts, you know, they're the clawing at the windows. They got to talk to somebody.
No doubt. But even introverts, right? You know, which I think you and I are, I believe the last time you and I talked, we're natural introverts. We recharge to be alone. We may be at home, but we're not alone, right? Or you may be wherever you engage people, but you're really not alone. You're always connected somehow. You're always tethered. So I'm having a hard time kind of recharging as a natural introvert, because there's really very little alone time now, where my only alone time during the day was the commute to and from SAC, my 45-minute to an hour commute.
Yeah, you had a very long commute time.
And I loved it because that was my alone time, right? I don't get that now. So I know this sounds crazy, but I do miss my commute. I do miss that 45 minutes of, if I feel like playing AC/DC as loud as I want to play it, I play it, you know?
Very nice.
Yeah.
And how are you holding up? You know, because I know, you know, there's no sports going on.
I know
you're a big sports guy. Did you catch WrestleMania or anything? Or
well, my 10-year-old daughter is a big WrestleMania fan, so I do watch wrestling with her, and it's funny. It's weird because there's nobody in the audience, and I don't know. I think the crowd gave it a lot of energy, so we're trying to get used to that. Now I've just binging on Netflix. I mean, I'm catching up on all the shows that everybody's talking about that I never had a chance to catch up. So unfortunately, I'm up till about 2 a.m. Then I have to get up at 8 o'clock or earlier to get to an 8 o'clock meeting, and it's just not healthy. I can't find my groove quite yet. You know?
And then, you know, that brings me to my next question. So, have you seen Tiger King yet?
I have. I loved it. I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those guilty pleasures where I'm like, this is so off the wall, so non-educational, that it just felt so right. I don't know how to explain it.
And I've been on a documentary kick these past couple days. Well, for a while now, probably the past month already. But it's a documentary, and so it makes it feel educational. At the same time, like that is definitely not appropriate for kids. It is an adult documentary. It's different.
It's different, and it'll challenge your. You know, we talk a lot about being very accepting and a very diverse, individuals or community. This will challenge that, and I think if you're open to it and you're open and intrigued about other lifestyles and how people live, it was intriguing. I mean, it was a sociological kind of lens that I was looking at that show. So I do find some, like you said, some educational component where I can learn and appreciate, arts, different parts of the country, that I've never seen before. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I loved it. And apparently there's supposed to be another episode or another. Yeah. So I'm waiting on that one, Hot Mustard. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So let's see. So students that are extroverts, or anybody who is an extrovert as far as students, faculty, and staff, the Student Advocacy Center is offering counseling, not just for extroverts, but also introverts, everyone.
Yes, everyone.
The Advocacy Center, counseling and case management virtually. You can even call them 210-386-1111.
Actually, that's 486. Yeah,
right?
just to be clear. Yeah, 486.
486.
That was a typo. You couldn't help that. I just remember the number.
I was like, well, wait a minute. I don't know.
No, it's 210-486-1111.
There you go. And you can email them sac-advocacyctr@alamo.edu. And it's one of those things how I think everybody on campus has adapted. Before everybody left, they were encouraged to forward their desk phone, office phone to their cell phone.
Right. And we were very, very blessed and lucky to be able to have we stood up that advocacy helpline now. So the timing couldn't have been perfect because we set it up right before spring break. So the line, we've got people behind those lines ready to help, and they've been calling in. We're getting quite a bit of calls for crisis counseling or food insecurity or housing kind of issues. People are giving to the fund to be able to build that fund to help our students. We're going to start working on some vouchers for our students to go pick up. Our restaurants are really struggling right now, and some of the restaurants that we all appreciate and love in our community are struggling, and they've had to turn to also selling groceries. So we've been in contact with some of our neighborhood partners and saying, can we get some boxes of groceries and get some vouchers for our students? And they love the idea. So we're getting a discounted rate to buy vouchers for our students to give them to go pick up a box of groceries at like Mi Tierra, for instance, who we work with closely, who are packaging a very nice grocery list within a box, a $25 box that we're going to start offering vouchers to our students so they can go pick up a box. Yeah.
See, the community loves SAC, and we love the community. And
yes,
that's great.
Yes.
Shout out to the Cortez family on that.
No doubt, they are a class act, and anytime we can partner with them, and they want to partner with us, and it's a win-win. And we're helping our local businesses, but but more importantly, we're helping our students to ensure that they have the quality groceries they need to get through this very difficult time.
Mm-hmm. So yesterday we received an email, I believe it was yesterday or earlier today, that a member of the San Antonio College groundskeeping team has tested positive for coronavirus. And there's a lot of concerned students and employees on this. Can you talk a little bit more to that?
Yeah, we were, we've been made aware of an employee, a groundskeeper who predominantly works outside, and they're really isolated in one central building where all the facilities folks work. So it did not, after further assessment, this person was not in the buildings. They were working outside. Of course, that building that they kind of all housed at was addressed as far as some deep cleaning, but all the people that work there were technically sent home, quarantined for the next 14 days or more to be sure and keep everybody safe. But we were made aware of this issue just on March 31st. We didn't get the results back till like April the 6th. So once we found out that that was positive, we took immediate action, but we had been preparing people that we were probably going to have to send them home if they did come back positive. So we were very prepared, if something like this happened, and we took swift action. But at the most important thing is, I know this gentleman, and I want him to know that we're all thinking about him, and we want to see him back with that big smile and doing everything that he did for SAC. I want to be sure that he pulls through this, and that he's healthy, and that he knows that his SAC family's thinking about him. So that's the most important thing. We took swift action. We protected the people that were impacted, but right now we want to be sure that we keep his health in our thoughts, and that he pulls through this, and that we'll see him once all this is over with.
Yeah, and we are a big family at SAC, and I see people all the time, out there keeping up with everything, and
yes,
it's sad, but keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Well, and we're a big organization, right? We have over 65,000 students, Alamo colleges. We have over 5,500 full-time employees. This virus is not showing any discretion. I mean, it's just one of those things that, well, where do you think he got it? We don't know, other than the moment he showed any signs of what he thought was, that he went immediately to the doctor, which is what you should do, right? And call your physician. So he did all the right things. We've done all the right things. It's very difficult to pinpoint, at this point, where it came from. But I think at the end of the day, we're thinking about him. We have him in our thoughts and prayers. We want to see him recover quickly and get back to what he does best at SAC.
Mm-hmm. And, if anybody can stay home, do so.
Yes.
Stay home.
Yeah, this is I've been listening to, especially a lot of the key figures out there, and talking about, once it starts to impact your loved ones or your friends or your small network, your friends and family, then it becomes even more real. So now we've had a member of our family test positive, and it's real, and the only way to beat this, as the mayor and the judge have said, is to stay home. Stay home, especially now when it really was probably wanting to peak at its at its height, and we've got to be able to just hunker down and stay home. So for the most part, we only have about, I would say, less than 20 essential personnel at SAC that were working, specifically IT, law enforcement, college services, and facilities was one of them, because they were working outside. So, it's very limited, folks. But anytime you step foot, and away from your house where it's safe, you're running a risk. So these employees that we do have, handing out laptops to our students, and those are law enforcement officials, they're at risk. I mean, we've given them all kinds of personal protective equipment, but they're still putting themselves at risk. And I'm just so proud of the work that they do, because they want to do it. They want to be there. It's like they've taken a step up to say, we want to be there for our students. We want to be there for our SAC community. So those are truly some amazing folks that have stepped up in a big way.
Mm-hmm. We are streaming live on YouTube, and we're getting some questions in. One person put, now that our main transfer institutions are adopting pass-fail options for students, how are the Alamo colleges going to be adapting their own grading policies to fit the needs of the students here?
That is a great question, and I anticipated that question would come, and I would anticipate a communique coming out in the next day or two, if not by the end of the week, as an Alamo College's district-wide kind of communique to students, that we have all agreed to go to a pass-fail option for students. So how this would work is that students would be assigned a letter grade at the end of the semester. That student would have a couple of months, maybe up until the end of July, to make a decision whether they wanted to keep the grade, the letter grade, or go to a credit, no credit kind of option. So the only way that you would be eligible for a credit, no credit, is if you had a C or better, right? That's trying to ensure that if a student transfer, at least transfers institutions know what that means. So it'll be, I like the fact that it'll be a student choice, of what they want to do about their grade. It's complicated, as you know, when students transfer to universities and they're competing for some of these spots in these university programs. They want to see a letter grade. They want to see, they calculate that GPA to see if you're eligible for that program. So we understand those nuances. We just didn't want to rush to make a decision and unintentionally hurt some students along the way. We wanted them for it to be their choice. We do have some programs though, like some of our high wage, high demand type jobs, highly skilled jobs, where the accrediting agency said there is no option. We cannot allow a credit, no credit. It has to be a letter grade. So there are a couple of programs like mortuary science, for instance, that the accrediting agency said we can't allow a credit, no credit. If they're in a mortuary science program taking a mortuary science class, you must assign a letter grade. So there are some exceptions, and students will know those exceptions. But for the most part, the majority of the students are going to have an option once that grade is posted. They'll have plenty of time to sit down with their advisor, specifically their advisor, and be sure that they know exactly what they're doing before they make that decision. We don't want students to go off and make a decision not knowing what those ramifications or implications will be once they transfer that senior institution.
Yes.
So it's a complicated decision. And I would just impress upon our students that they sit down with their advisor. All our students have assigned advisors, and say, I really want to know what the implications are one way or the other. So that's why we're giving students a couple of months to really make that choice and have enough time to sit down with their advisor or their faculty mentor, and make that best decision for themselves.
And has the Alamo Colleges reached out to, the at least the area universities like A&M San Antonio, UTSA, St. Mary's, or something like that?
So the good thing there is that those universities, especially our universities within their community, are all part of this university compact with Alamo Colleges. Okay. So we have this compact, and we have an agreement by which we built these transfer advising guides. So we already have their cooperation agreement to transfer our students seamlessly. So as you know, a lot of those universities, I think all universities, at least in San Antonio, are going to a pass, no pass kind of situation. So if it's good for their students, it'll be good for our students once they transfer to the institution. We just wanted to be sure that would be the case. We don't want anybody to be caught in a situation where they're ready to transfer, and then one of the programs may say, well, we needed a letter B. We needed a grade of a B in your chemistry class, and I just see a credit here. We don't want those hiccups for our students when they do transfer. We need our partners, I think, will work with us. Now, once they step outside of that partnership, it'll still be up to that institution whether they're going to accept it or not, right? So that's the piece that's important, to sit down with an advisor and work through that. Because if you want to transfer to University of North Texas School of Business, what do they require? That advisor could then call that department and say, will you accept a credit? No, we won't. Now okay, they won't accept it, so you need to go with the letter grade. Or guess what? They will accept it, knowing that we've all been in this together. you're free to go ahead and go with the credit, no credit kind of thing, right? So, there's plenty of time to do that for our students.
So say a student does get in the situation where the transferring institution will not take the pass or fail, that they do want the letter grade and they don't have it. More than likely, they would have to take it again.
More than likely, they would have to take it again, right? So that's why the stakes are high. Once you make that commitment to go one way or the other, it's what is set. Yeah, at that becomes the official record. At that point, to change an official record would mean that you would have to take the course again, if that's what you chose to do. So that's why we wanted to give students enough time to sit down with their advisor and make the right decision. I think if I'm trying to remember back when I was 18 years old, I know I would have run to a credit, no credit. But it's when I applied to a program that I really wanted to get into and that really mattered, I think I would have put myself in a very tough position to get into that program I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
So it's just it's personal. It's unique to that individual.
Yeah. And bottom line, do your best.
Do your best. We kept saying that from day one. Hot Mustard is as much as whatever is going on, focus on your academics. Best case scenario, you end up with an A or a B, and the choice is already made, right? Yeah, just take the letter grade and move on, right? So but everybody gets themselves we're all in a different situation. I wanted a B in biology and I couldn't make a B. The best I could make was a C. I remember those types of classes. So it just depends on the courses that you're taking. And sometimes you said that a C is great. I gave it all I could, and C was the best that I could get. So I'm moving on.
Yeah. History 1 and 2 on mine was my C's.
That one was one of my C's, I think.
And it's weird because I love history documentaries. I can watch the History Channel all day, but when it comes down to taking the course and just doing the test, it's all messed up.
Well, you and I talked about, and I gave you the example of why I made a bad grade was this. I had a professor that would walk in with a stool, and she'd walk in and put the stool right in the middle of the class. She'd close her eyes and lecture for 50 minutes straight. That was every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 10 a.m.
Wow. Sink
or swim.
Don't ask any questions either.
Don't ask any questions because she won't open her eyes to really acknowledge your hand going up.
and don't say, well, the book says differently.
Well, no.
You'll get the response. Well, who's writing the test?
Well, and she's like, well, I wasn't reading from the book. This was a 40-year veteran who had all her notes in her head,
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. She was super smart, but did make us feel very smart, so.
We got another question from the YouTube comments. What is a good time frame for advisors to return emails? I am not sure if I need summer school till I hear from my advisor. Sent email last week.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no. So it should not be more than a week. We're trying to get everything turned around within 48 hours, at least a couple of days. So there may be a technical issue there for some reason, but I would encourage that students there in our website, there's a chat. You can click the chat and someone will answer immediately. And there is an academic advising piece to that chat. That's kind of instant. We have live people behind that chat. It's not automated. It's not an FAQ kind of situation. So if you're having trouble reaching, it could be a technical issue, because I can assure you, I've been looking at the data, and we're not having any virtual lines. People aren't being held up for days. It's usually just a few hours. So sounds like a technical issue. I would encourage you to reach out to the chat or just email me directly, and I'll get you to the right place, and we'll get you advised to be sure that you make the right choices. So just sacpres@alamo.edu. It's on my website. I get emails from students every day, and we get them, to the right folks, and they get addressed immediately.
Definitely. Speaking of which, Maymester and summer session registration is going on. Getting a lot of students signing up. Register for Maymester. The deadline is May 10th. Summer session 1 is May 31st, and summer session 2 is July 5th. alamo.edu/SAC/advising.
And just so that students are aware, we are building our Maymester summer 1, summer 2 in a online or Zoom environment because we're not sure how long this is going to go. So we're trying to be proactive so that we have the right section. So students are going to be able to, if they like to do online and do it at their own pace, that's great. But the Zoom means that we actually meet on the day and time it's scheduled, but it's just via Zoom with your instructor. So it's just depending on what you prefer as a student, but we're going to have quite a bit of offerings that way because we don't anticipate going back to face-to-face within the next few months. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but we want to be proactive. If things do alleviate a little bit and we can offer some face-to-face, maybe say summer 2, we will open those up, if we can. So we're monitoring, but right now we're building our schedule truly online or kind of a Zoom, which they call synchronous, which means that you're actually meeting the same date, same time that's scheduled on the calendar.
Nice. Speaking of deadlines, graduation deadline that is coming up very fast next Friday. Any students that are planning on graduating, April 17th, next Friday, April 17th.
And I tell you, and I know you, Hot Mustard, you're part of our graduation committee, and I've heard some amazing. We're not going to give away the surprises coming for graduation, but I'm telling you guys that are ready to graduate, I would get that application in because we're going to do something very special for you guys on May the 9th and the 10th. So we're still going to have a commencement. It's going to be a little different, but I think it's going to make you proud.
Definitely. Friday, this coming Friday, Good Friday. It's a holiday. Enjoy a 3-day weekend.
Yes. So let me be clear. That's why I wanted to be sure that we updated our website because it said campus closed. And I know some of our smart 18, 19, 21-year-old, it is already closed. So it's April the 10th is closed, not just the campus, of course, but remote learning is closed, meaning, that is a holiday. So take the time to kind of, do what you need to do to really get some stress-free relief. That's a great day to do that. Visit virtually your friends and family or whatever you're going to do. But this break couldn't have come in a better time. Folks need a 3-day weekend to kind of make some sense out of all this, to kind of reflect, and then get ready to hit it again hard on Monday so we can close the semester strong.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of which, tools to help you with that, tutoring is available on Zoom. Accounting, biology, chemistry, economics, math, nursing, Spanish, writing assistance. It's all available. The library is also available for remote research help. They're available Monday through Thursday, 7:30 in the morning to 7 p.m. And then Friday, 7:30 to 5.
Yeah, students always ask, can I still schedule a tutoring? Yes, you can. You can. We still have tutoring schedules where you can get your personal tutoring for accounting, biology, chemistry, economics, math, nursing, Spanish, writing. We have tutors ready to go in via Zoom, just like the Khan Academy, and get in there one-on-one with you and get you through these difficult times. So there's nothing compromised around tutoring or all the library services. Everything is there for the students to be able to access and not compromise your studies. And if something is compromising your studies, please let us know. And we'll make the adjustment immediately to be sure that you get the resources you need to be successful at SAC.
Definitely. Laptops are still available. Next week on Tuesday, April 14th through next Friday, the 17th, or until supplies last. So 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is all going on in the parking lot right in front of the Moody Learning Center.
Last time I checked Hot Mustard, I think we still had 500 laptops. So students, those of you that do not have access to technology, come pick one up. They're there for you. They're specifically there to help you through this time. So don't be afraid. We're getting a steady flow of 20 students, and I want to assure you that the way these laptops are being picked up we're very careful about ensuring the social distancing kind of policies to protect you and the employees. I think we actually have, and we have a robot with that iPad that kind of walks out and greets you and kind of takes your order, so you never even have to touch or face a human being. I mean, so we've got technology in place to really protect our students. So I'm like, well, I need a laptop, but I don't know how secure it is. It's very secure. So please don't hesitate to go pick up a laptop if you need one.
Awesome. Well, it is that time of the show. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday, 3:30 to 4 o'clock, right here on YouTube Live, I guess.
Yes.
All right. See you next week.
I can't wait. Looking forward to it, Hot Mustard, as always.